Hey y'all. So, I'm currently reading the book of Esther. Let me show you. It's Esther, the king, Mordecai, and Haman or Haman. I say Haman, okay? It's them four. Alright, y'all. So, Haman, right? He sent letters out to the officials basically stating to destroy, kill, annihilate, all the Jews, young and old, women and children, right? I'm not sure if the king knew this, but at the end of all of that stuff was going on, while that stuff was going on, the king and Haman sat down to drink while the city of Susa, or I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but it's Susa, while the city of Susa was in confusion, right? Now, Mordecai, right, when he learned I'm reading from the Bible, when he learned all that had occurred, he tore his clothes and put on sackcloth and ashes, went into the middle of the city and cried loudly and bitterly. He went only as far as the king's gate, since the law prohibited so sorry, y'all. Anyone wearing sackcloth from entering the king's gate, right? He said, y'all want to do this? I'm going to go right to the gate where I know I can't wear this, but I'm still going to wear this, right? Right. Now, my girl Esther, right? Her servants came and reported to her what was going on. Hold on. Stay with me, y'all. Stay with me. Esther, she's the queen, right? When she heard about all this, she was overcome with fear. That's what it says, right? So she sent clothes for Mordecai to wear so that he would take off the sackcloth, but he did not accept them. He was like, no. Okay, now Esther summoned one of the king's people, one of his officials, one of his people that's close to him, right? She summoned one of him, and he went to Mordecai, and Mordecai told him everything that had happened, as well as the exact amount of money that Haman had promised to pay the royal treasury for the slaughter of all the Jews, right? Mordecai also, he had notes, so he gave one of the king's people, a copy of the written decree issued in Susa, ordering their destruction. So like he had copy of like what was going on. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna write this down, I'm gonna give this to the king, the queen, period. He said, I'm doing this, okay? But also he did that so that the king people would bring it back to Esther so that she can know also what had happened and why he was out there like that. But he wanted Esther to go approach the king so he would know what actually was going on. Esther was like, absolutely not. Do you not know that all the royal officials and the people of the royal provinces know that one law applies to every man or woman who approaches the king in the inner courtyard and who has not been summoned, death penalty, unless the king extends the gold scepter, allowing the person to live. She said, you want me to go in front of the king when I'm not summoned and get killed because of what happened? She said, absolutely not. So then my girl Esther was like, you know what? Fine, I'm going to do it. But first, you got to fast for me and then with me, okay? She said, go and assemble all the Jews who can be found in Susa and fast for me. Don't eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. Period. That's what she said. 3 days, no eating, no drinking. And she said, after they fast, hold on, let me read from the Bible. She said, after that, I will go to the king, even if it is against the law. If I perish, I perish. She said, I rock with you. It is what it is. I ask you to fast for me. And after this fast, if I die, I just die. But I'm doing it for a good cause. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, I have to show y'all the next passage. On the third day, Esther dressed in her royal clothing and stood in the inner courtyard of the palace facing it. The king was sitting there. The king was sitting on his royal throne in the royal courtroom facing its entrance. As soon as the king saw Queen Esther standing in the courtyard, she gained favor. Y'all, my girl was so scared. She thought she was going to die, but the whole time she gained favor. And guess what the king said? He said, whatever you want, whatever you ask for, whatever you need, it will be given to you. Period. So she invited the king and Haman to basically a little banquet that she prepared for them, right? So then the king was like, hurry up, everybody, let's go, let's go, let's go. So after all the little good news, Haman, right? That day Haman left full of joy and in good spirits. But when Haman saw Mordecai at the king's gate, and Mordecai didn't raise or tremble in fear at his presence, Haman was filled with rage toward Mordecai. Yet Haman controlled himself and went home. He said, you don't fear me? So after that, Haman was like, oh, I got something for him. So now Mr. Haman was out here boasting to his friends and his wife, saying the king had honored him and promoted him in rank over the other officials and the royal staff. Okay. Then he was like, y'all want to know what else? Queen Esther invited no one but me to join the king at the banquet she had prepared. I am invited again tomorrow to join her with the king. A little too boastful, a little too boastful for me, man. But hold on, it gets crazier. But he said to his wife and his friends, he said, still, none of this satisfied me, since I see Mordecai the Jew sitting at the king's gate all the time. He was like, this man's still here. Like, why you in my face? Every time I come to have some joyful time, I see Mordecai. That's how he was feeling, right? Yo, guess what? His wife and friends told him, have them build a gallows 75 feet tall. Ask the king in the morning to hang Mordecai on it. Then go to the banquet with the king and enjoy yourself. The advice pleased Haman, so he had the gallows constructed. That same night, the king couldn't sleep, right? So he ordered the book recording daily events to be brought and read to the king. They found the written report of how Mordecai had informed all, the people that what was going on with the Jews and stuff like that, and how he was just so upset and distraught what was going on. So the entrance that the king's guards were guarding, or whatever, the entrance that the king's guards were guarding, the king had inquired. He was like, what honor and special recognition have been given to Mordecai for this act because of the letter, right? They replied, nothing has been done for him. So the king asked, who is in court? And at this time, now Haman was just entering the outer court of the palace to ask the king to hang Mordecai on the gallows he prepared for him. After the king wanted to know, was Mordecai even given, something special for what happened? So who was in the court? Haman was in the court. So the king told Haman to enter, and the king asked him what should be done for the man. The king asked him what should be done for the man the king wants to honor, right? So Haman gonna think to himself, he was like, who is it the king wants to honor more than me? So Haman came up with this whole big thing. He was like, for the man the king wants to honor, have them bring a royal garment that the king himself has worn, and a horse the king himself has ridden, which has a royal crown on its head. Put the garment and the horse under the charge of one of the king's most noble officials. Have them clothe the man the king wants to honor. Parade him on the horse through the city square and call out before him, this is what is done for the man the king wants to honor. The king told Haman, hurry and do just as you propose. Take the garment and a horse for Mordecai the Jew, who is sitting at the king's gate. Do not leave nothing out that you said. Haman was pissed because he thought it was him, right? No, it's the man you want to hang. It's the man you want to hang. And guess what? He did everything he proposed to the king, period. So Mordecai returns to the king's gate, and Haman, he ran home. He said, oh no, I can't be seen like this. So he told his wife and everybody what happened. They was like, yeah, your downfall is about to happen because you did that for a Jew, right? So he had to go to the banquet that Esther prepared right after. At the banquet, the king told Esther in front of Haman, whatever you ask will be given to you. Esther told the king everything that happened and who was in charge of the destruction of the Jews. And she told the king it was Haman, and the king told him to get hung on the same thing he wanted to hang Mordecai on. The reversal is crazy. Dang.